Welcome to Policing TV. Each week, we will explore the highlights from our latest videos, diving into topics like AI, technology, drugs, and the people shaping the future of policing. First off, we heard from a variety of participants at the Blue Light Show. In this clip, we hear from Mark Wilson from GoodSam.
I'm the medical director of GoodSam, one of the co-founders, and we're at the Blue Light Show, and it's a real pleasure to be here. Just to give you a little overview, if you're not familiar with what GoodSam is is a platform that's used around the world, across all the UK, Australia, New Zealand, across Canada, the US, and it's got a lot of functions within it, but you can broadly divide them into two main areas. One is an app-based alerting dispatching system, which is used as a cardiac response tool, so it deploys people who are trained in CPR to go and start CPR whilst the ambulance services are en route. That's where we came from. And it's also used for volunteering, for opioid overdoses, lots of other things. And the other bit that we do is a non-app based, public-facing ability to open up any 911, 999, 000 callers' mobile phone cameras and locate them and see what's going on around them. So that's a triage tool where you can see what's going on, forward that video to other agencies or within your own agencies, give situational awareness, for example, for active shooter type scenarios, and getting additional advice. So it's a non-app based system that can locate and get video in. That video can also come from drones, from CCTV and body cams, and be forwarded in the same manner. So to give you a little overview of how that works, all that happens is the emergency call handler sends the caller a text. They click the link on the text, it gives them their location, and then video starts to stream. Once that video comes through, that can be forwarded on to, say, an officer on the ground or another service like LFB or whoever, a fire service, whoever it might be that needs to see that. We also do lots of other ways of doing videos. We can do pathways, which is where video can come in from a number of different locations. So you can create a web app or a URL that automatically triggers a video which can alert specific people who are on duty, for example, stroke consultants or whoever in a hospital. And then, again, that can be forwarded in a controlled, auditable, secure manner. And we do a whole load of other things around AED registries, bleed kits and other things like that. But really it's a platform that does two things: alerting dispatching for an app and a non-app based video and location in the system.
We next heard from Superintendent Marcus Nolan discussing with Brendan O'Brien how to assess your own values in finding roles in the police.
You've just mentioned actually values, and something as you know, in terms of mentoring others, something I always advocate is individuals carrying out a values type exercise, and there are many available on the internet and things that you can do. But ultimately, it's about boiling down to just a number of words, 3-4 words that describe you best, and from there you can develop sentences or a short paragraph using those words to describe you as an individual, what makes you tick, what values you hold and adhere to you. That goes a long way in terms of an individual understanding themselves better, and that then goes a long way in terms of developing that plan for the future and how they want to navigate that plan through their careers. So you mentioned the values. I think it's really important.
Mm. And that would help identify the sort of person that they are, that self-reflection in terms of, I'm just thinking about going all the way back to the thing that you're proud of, that individual that you caught in the act of committing a burglary. If you'd been teamed up with someone who, like, part of your values lead to you wanting to do that kind of thing, that might not be everyone's cup of tea. There might be someone else who, through that vision setting, that sense of purpose, their mission, their values, what they're good at, thinking, I don't want to be the person who does the rugby tackle, but what I'd really love to do is the analysis and the planning that leads up to that kind of operation. Like, we've got, there's all sorts of people, and this is something I've always thought about, reflected on in the police service, almost like an obsession of developing the things you're not good at. Like, the things I wasn't good at in the 20s, I'm still not good at now. And I never will be. Like, I remember having a chief inspector who wanted to get me to be more organised. And I'm not. I'm not very organised, never have been, never will be, and I'm still not. Like, that's just me. Yeah. He was trying to get me to develop something that was never going to happen, as opposed to, Brendan, the thing you're really good at is, let's do more of that. And that's what John O'Hare was good at doing. Like, he identified the things within me that I'm really good at, and like created the culture and the environment where I could thrive. And I'm just thinking about that, like, someone might be listening to this thinking, I'm never going to be the rugby tackling proactive offender catching individual. But what I'd really love to do is be the brains behind that.
Lastly, we heard from the College of Policing's Rachel Tuffin on the Centre for Police Productivity's research initiatives, particularly focusing on the implementation of video response in policing.
So this next bit of the pipeline is where we've shared interesting things. Then it's about saying, right, which ones do we pick out for evaluation? And to make sure that these are things that we might want to implement nationally. And the example I was going to talk about here was video response. So that's been a fascinating journey in policing. So goes back to the perhaps the best original evidence. This was Stacey Rothwell's study on domestic abuse originally, so providing video response to domestic abuse. And a master's colleague of hers in that was Kent Police, in Dorset Police, spotted this and thought, oh, this looks fascinating. I wonder if I could use video response for a broader sample of calls from the public. So basically speed up response and improve investigation quality. So great, I'm gonna test it. So Stu Gates, his name was, tested that in Dorset, and we spotted that one, and Dorset also brought it to our attention. Randomised control trial in both cases, so in the domestic abuse one and with this wider one. So we were, okay, brilliant. So now what we want to do is do a repeat test of that in another force, so we can show that this is actually, it's not just in Dorset, that this is actually something that can work in another force too. And we also wanted to try out a new way of providing a bit more support to forces. I've talked a little bit about this in a previous slot. So, the detail. So exactly how do you go about doing this? And can the people from the previous pilot or the previous test come and do some actual support on the ground? So maybe some training, maybe helping with some analysis, but some things that actually in practical terms help the force that's trying to do it next. So we did that with Avon and Somerset. They did a fantastic job of testing in their force, and lots of terrific support from the Dorset team, and really good results around speeding up response, investigation quality, and others. And so that gives us a really solid kind of set of results, which we will now go on to recommend in terms of national rollout. And the best thing I think as well here is that because we've now tried it on a wider sample, so that's not immediate response, but just video response, we've also got the fantastic results for domestic abuse for immediate response, where it's straight to the victim. We're working together with that rapid video response team to start to put together a package of how to do video response best. And we'll provide that implementation support working together. So that's what I'm also loving about this work, is the opportunity to be really collaborative across teams and think most about what can we do to provide the best possible support to forces. So there we're working with the digital public contact team from National Police Chiefs Council. So yeah.
Fascinating area of video response. Instinctively, I can see why it has worked and is working so well in areas of domestic violence, domestic abuse, and I can also see the potential for many other areas. So great to see that. I think you said Kent started, then Dorset picked up, Avon and Somerset. So strong indications of many forces now working away on this. So an area where we'll very much look forward to Policing TV and Policing Insight learning more about the works that is going on. But for this particular video, Rachel, thank you once again.
Thanks, Bernard.
Thank you for watching. Tune in next week.